Have you cried tears of despair, of sadness, tears of betrayal? Someone that hurt you, someone that you love so much just left you, and you feel so alone? I have. You know, there's nothing more devastating than someone that you invest your time in, your life in, you get married to the person, they're the first person that you know, and then they decide to leave, and there's no explanation. I invested so much time in this person and they just turn around and say they don't love you anymore. That's what happened to me. And it was just the way it happened, it was such a shock, it was such a surprise because I wasn't expecting it. And when he left, he just left so coldly. He had his mind made up and I couldn't change it. And I just felt such despair. It was just constant crying, day after day. Waking up in the morning, hoping that this was a nightmare and that I would wake up and everything would be fine. Only to see that my pillow was wet from the night time before and my eyes were swollen. So I started attending a series of meetings. And in those meetings that are so faith motivated, they give you confidence, they boost your self-esteem, made me realize, hold on, it's his loss and not mine, that I'm worth something here. I'm precious before God, and that's enough for me. And I stopped crying. And that was a symbol of emotion stop. Time to think about this. This has happened. What can you learn from it, Shireen? What can you do differently, Shireen? And I decided to learn from that experience and take it as a stepping stone to start again. And I've been a better person since then. In fact, today I've married someone very, very special. I've been married for 6 years now, and I do cry a lot with him, but it's tears of absolute laughter and joy because the people that know my husband know that he's an absolute laugh. And I just love the way that my God has got such a sense of humor. He's blessed me with someone who's helped me to exchange my tears.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's Finding Answers. Now, the human spirit, the human being, likes to be in control. And I'm sure you like to be in control of things in your life. No one likes to feel helpless. No one likes to feel that they don't have control over any situation in their lives. But sometimes it comes to a point where people do feel helpless. They feel as though their life is out of control and they don't know what to do with their lives. So an example can be, you've tried to do everything you can to be successful, to be somebody. But time after time, you see that things don't work out the way you want them to be. It's like you're losing a grip on your life. You can't explain why things go wrong all the time for you. And if you look at your life, maybe you've had a good upbringing, you've had a good education, you've had a good support network around you, but yet, you have good education, you speak well, you have experience, you have everything going for you. But yet, time after time, things don't go the way you want. To the point where you feel as though, you know what? I have no control over my life. I have no control over this health problem. It's one health problem which you kind of control or beat that, but then something else comes along again, and then something else. And then there's an accident, and then you're hurt, and then you have to go for a major operation. And time after time, it feels as though something else is controlling your life. So you feel helpless. Now, would you like to take control back of your life? You may say to me now, you may ask this question, Michael, what are you talking about? How can I take control of my life? The doctors have said this health problem, it's controlled by medication. How can I control this thing? How can I actually be healed? Maybe you feel as though people are controlling you. You feel helpless, you feel lost. Well, I have good news for you. You can take back control over your life. That's why we were made. We weren't made to be, under someone's thumb. We weren't made to be slaves, to be, put down, pressed upon by anyone or anything for that matter. You exist because you can make something of yourself. You control the destiny of your life. And if you feel as though you can't, well, stay tuned, because this program's topic is I feel helpless. And if you feel that way and you want some help, you want to find out what maybe you can do to get control back of your life, stay tuned. Have a look at this video now, which will explain more about tonight's topic.
Helplessness is a feeling in which someone may remain passive in their life and to not change circumstances or situations even though they can. Psychologists define learned helplessness as a situation whereby people feel helpless to avoid negative situations because previous experience has shown them that they do not have control. A famous psychologist called Martin Seligman coined the term learned helplessness after conducting a famous experiment. In an experiment on classical conditioning, whereby you associate one thing with another, Seligman rang a bell and administered a light electric shock to a dog's cage. After doing this several times, Seligman changed the experiment. He then put the dog in a large crate that was divided down the middle with a low fence. The dog could see or jump over the fence if necessary. But he found that when he administered the shock to the same dog, instead of jumping to the unelectrified part of the cage, the dogs just lay down. They had learned to be helpless and had learned not to be able to escape the shock. This simple experiment in 1965 tells us that the way people view the negative events in their life can have a direct impact on whether they feel helpless or not. For example, if you fail a test, you may think, "I'm stupid," or "the test was too hard." These are attributions. Learned helplessness would be to decide that you are actually stupid. This would prevent you from revising in the future, as this type of attribution is the main reason that people feel and act in a helpless way. You have learned to feel like that. So, the good news is, if you have learned to feel helpless, you can now learn how to live a more worthwhile and fulfilling life. We can relearn how to help ourselves.
I would say if you've learned to think negatively, then you can unlearn to think negatively. You can always change the way you behave. And with me tonight, once again, is Victoria. Hi, Victoria.
Hiya.
How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
Interesting that experiment with the dog.
Yeah, it's a very basic one, and it was done in 1965, but it was the first time by accident actually that a psychologist coined the term learned helplessness, because they were doing an experiment on something totally different, but they realised that the animal had learned to be helpless, and then what they did when they discovered that is then they generalised that to human beings and found that we too learn to be helpless.
Yeah. So if you feel as though you are helpless, maybe you feel as though that partner of yours is abusive and controlling you. You feel helpless. You feel as though I can't break out of this relationship. I can't, pass that exam, as the example we gave. I can't better myself. Well, I have news for you. You can. It's possible. All you need to do is believe in yourself. And if not, well, stay tuned, because we are going to show you someone who did feel helpless in his life. And if you want help, the lines are open right now. You can give us a call and you can remain anonymous. You can tell the person at the other end of the line what you're going through, and you can either receive some advice, you can receive a prayer even. And at the end of the program, I will be praying for you. You that do feel helpless, you feel as though you've lost control of where your life is heading, and you want to take back control of your life. So Victoria, what's the contact details, please?
So if you'd like to speak to one of our advisors, the number is 020 7686 6300, or you can send us an email. The email address is help@findinganswers.tv. Or if you'd like to talk to us via social media, you can send us a tweet. Just start your tweets with @FindAnswersTV, or search for us on Facebook. Just look for Finding Answers.
Okay, I want to set a small challenge for you. It's not a challenge, but I did this at the end of the program last night. If you would like positive news, if you'd like to read positive news, you know, you're fed up with turning on the TV, you're fed up with, you know, opening a newspaper and seeing negative things. These all have an effect on our lives. If we continue reading those stories, you know, bringing in information, that can have an effect on you. You keep reading things about the economy, about, you know, the area of your life that you want to work in, your career, your dreams, and then you see that everything around you is negative, right? That area, that field, you know, they're not employing people. It's going down in that aspect. People who have your qualifications, you know, they're not getting the jobs that you want as well. So that can have effect on you. You feel helpless. You become just a number, just like everyone else, and you don't feel as though you can make a difference in your life. So if you want to read some good news, people like our guests on this program who have come on and shared their experience. We have people who've escaped death. We have people who've been healed of incurable diseases. We've had people who have overcome years of abuse. We have people who have beat the odds. You bring the experts on and they can say X, Y, and Z, but they can't give an explanation as to why their lives are the way it is. And you want to hear these miracles. You want to hear these positive stories. Then it's another reason for you to pick up the phone now. If you would like a newspaper of stories, positive stories, real life people, you want to read about these people, you're fed up with bad news, pick up the phone, give us a call now, and we will post to you this newspaper, right? Real life stories to help you, to lift you up. If you're fed up of reading bad press, then pick up the phone and read some good news. The number's on the screen now. It's 0207 686 6300. You can give us a call now, leave your details, your name, your full postal address, and we will send that in the post to you. All right? Free of charge. Okay, we're going to go for a break now. When we come back, you're going to meet our guest tonight who'll be sharing his story. We'll see you after this.
We all have tears. There are tears of sadness, tears of pain, frustration, and tears of loneliness. Learn to wipe those tears away in exchange for tears of joy. Exchange your tears event. January 25th at 10 a.m. For more information, call 020 7686 6000.
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Now, just before the break, I did invite you to give us a call if you'd like to receive good news, a free paper posted out to you. People are already calling up requesting that. So if you want to be one of the first to get it, we do have a limited number. So if you want to be one of the first, please give us a call, get yours in the post to you, all right, as soon as possible. All right, let's go now and meet tonight's guest who felt helpless in life. Stay tuned because maybe his story relates to you. Maybe not exactly, but maybe if you are feeling helpless, stay tuned, hear what he has to say, but then later on in the program, you find out how his life changed. Let's meet Nelson now.
It's pushing me for the rest of the week, so it's like a boost.
Things were really tight.
Today, the way I see myself is completely different.
Nelson, welcome to the program. How
Thank
are
you
you?
for having me.
All
Doing
right?
well, doing well.
Good. So, you came from a troubled background, if I can say that. Troubled in the sense that, you didn't have a stable family, right? And that led you to do certain things later on as you go. Actually, you're still young. How old are you?
24.
24?
Yeah.
So, you've experienced a lot in your young life already. So tell us, how did things happen for you?
I wouldn't say my family was very unstable, but what I would say is that my parents, obviously, they came from another country to settle in the UK, start a new life. And as you know, from when people do this, they have to work hard. They have to work hard to establish themselves. So what I would say is that there wasn't much attention given to family life at home. It wasn't that my parents didn't love us. It wasn't that, I don't think it wasn't purposely. But now I'm older, I can tell. It's just that they were working and they didn't, there wasn't much family life, even between brothers and sisters, etc. And this obviously led to, you have young people they have so much energy inside of them, they want to explore the world, they want to do things. So as I was growing older and got into secondary school, I made new friends, obviously, and with these new friends, it's sort of a new lifestyle that gets introduced to you. When you're younger, it's only mum, dad, maybe family members. But when you now go to secondary school, it's now friends here, friends there. You're allowed out on your own now, so you get to experience other type of cultures and influences. And this is where it all began for me. I made friends with people that weren't so good for me, if I can put it that way. They weren't so good for me. I remember there was one of my closest friends at the time. He introduced me to a lot of other people, and it became like a big group of friends who, I felt a belonging. I felt at home now.
Why? Why did you feel as you belonged? Now you're just new friends. What was it?
At home, it's the same old sort of lifestyle, everything was just the same. Parents were working hard. There was nothing, at that age, there was nothing really special about just being at home. That's how I saw it at the time. But with these new friends who would, get up to mischief, that would,
What kind of things would they do?
Okay, I remember I started stealing from a young age, very young age. And one of the main reasons was, apart from this friend that introduced me to the rest of them, I used to I used to hang about with my older brother quite a bit as well. And him being older than me, his friends were older as well. So I was typically the youngest one there. When they're having their conversations, when they're, you know, talking about girls, you know, talking about crime they committed, fights, etc., I'm hearing all of this at a young age. So when it's time for me to talk, I obviously want something to be, I want to contribute to that conversation. So in order for me to contribute, I have to, you know, get into a situation so that I have a story to tell. So that's sort of how it was. I wanted to live up to that sort of name. I wanted to fit in.
So what kind of things did you do? You mentioned girls. You mentioned that you would steal.
Yeah.
So I take it you were stealing, shoplifting, doing whatever you need to do, so you can obviously come back with a story.
Yeah. I started shoplifting. To be honest, I don't actually know how it started, but I remember I used to steal a lot. I used to rob. I used to be a pickpocket as well. So I would go to school. I would steal mobile phones. I'll steal money. I think back then it wasn't Oyster cards. It was like travel cards back then, and you could get a seasonal travel card. So I would find ways of making money. I would steal people's Oyster cards and scan it and sell it on. Just petty ways of making money. Stealing phones, shoplifting, and I got so good at it that, you know, it got to the point where I didn't need to do it anymore. It was just a sort of habitual sort of thing. It was, oh, let's just go in there and shoplift just because we can. I mean, there was times where a big group of us, I would see some of my friends at the time, they would go into a store just to shoplift. And I'll be thinking in my head, I don't need to be there. I don't need to do it, but, well, I'm not going to be the only one that's standing outside. I might as well go in with them. And you get to the point where I would steal useless things that I didn't actually need, but just so I can say I was a part of it.
So what did you do once you had these things in your possession? What did you do with them?
If it was something of value, if it was, for example, like a electrical gadget or phone or something, then I'd sell it. I'd make money. I'll be able to buy what young people want, clothes, etc. But the things that they didn't have any value, just in my hands in 1 minute, next minute, I'll just lose it. I'll just leave it on the bus. I'll just throw it away. It had no purpose. The only purpose of me doing it was literally because everyone else was doing it.
Right.
That's how it was.
And with girls, obviously you're a guy, you know, what was the situation with girls? Because you heard your older brother and his friends talking about females and stuff like that. So how were females involved? What did you do? Would you have a little black book? Would you get as many numbers as possible?
That reminds me, actually. It became a, what do I call it? It became like a tradition for us to go to West End. At the time, it was like the spot to go, and you go, you chat up girls, you meet girls that are there, and there was competitions that we would have. We would go there and say who can get the most numbers on that day, and it was like an ego type of thing. Oh, I'm going to go for her, and somebody would say, oh no, you can never get her. Okay, I'm going to prove it, etc. And it would just go on that way. And this is what I would learn from the guys that were older than me. So at first I was just observing, not knowing that I'm actually taking in, I'm actually being molded to be like them. And I grew up just the same way, doing the same things that they were doing. And it got to the point where I was going after girls, not because I had any interest in them per se, but just because I could, just because, you know, everybody else was doing it. It's that sort of lifestyle. So it would literally be use and abuse. Were
you in a gang, or was it just a group of friends?
We wouldn't call ourselves a gang, but essentially it was a gang. It was a group of friends that we were always together. If any problem occurred, we'll always be there to back each other up, sort of thing. So we didn't really put a name on ourselves, but essentially it was a gang, but it was a group of guys.
So tell us what else together. You would do then.
So we would get into fights. We would do armed robberies. This is as time was going on.
Yeah.
Time was going on. Things were getting worse.
So hold on a minute. Armed robbery.
Yeah.
Armed robbery.
Yeah.
Arms. Guns. We're talking about.
Well, the one that I was involved in was knives. We had
okay.
So
what did you do then?
It started off again as, to be honest, it was a joke to me at first. It was just something different to do. It was a thrill. One of the older guys that I respected, he suggested, okay, let's rob this person here. And at first I thought, oh, they're not really gonna do it. I've never done this before. And as I was following on, I saw that we approached the guy. We asked him for what he had, and obviously he was afraid, etc. And we just literally went through his pockets, went through everything that he had, and just started taking. And this is the first time that I got involved with this. I remember running through like a back road. We were all running away with it, obviously, because we don't want to take it and be there on the main road with it, and the police come, etc. So I remember running away with it, and we were all just there laughing.
So what did you take from him?
What we would do is that he had DVDs at the time. This is back then when DVDs were quite. We knew everybody wanted them, and the aim was we would steal them, and we would sell them on and make money from it. So we took them. I believe we took money from him as well. So we were there running away, and we found this very funny. I found this very funny for some reason. The thrill was there. It was like, wow, I can't believe that this has just happened. It was so easy. We got away with it. And I remember running away, and then all I hear was sirens, the police behind us, and they're in the bully van. Just literally, it went from me smiling and finding it so funny to a frown being on my face and being so scared, thinking, what have I done? Why? What is the question that was in my head is, what is my mum going to think about this? What's my mum going to say?
Oh, now you're thinking of
exactly. That's the funny thing about it. So it went from being an absolute joke to being something so serious. And I remember running, the police were coming after us, and it was just me running for my freedom, because I just saw it was so stupid. Why did I get involved with it? Ended up getting away. And
you didn't know if your other friends get caught, do you know?
No.
Okay.
All got away. And it was a thing where we got away, the thrill was there. Okay, it was scary at the time when the chase was on. But because we got away, you would think that we learnt from it. But I guess because we got away with it, I didn't change at all. I thought, okay, I got away with it once. It was a thrill. Let me just be smarter in future and continue doing this. And this is how it was.
How old were you at the time that all this occurred?
This was maybe when I was 14, 15.
Really?
Yeah. From the age of 13 to 15, around that age.
Okay. So did that escalate now? You robbed someone at, was it knife point?
No, that wasn't knife. That wasn't knife.
But did it escalate? Things get worse?
Yeah.
What happened?
It just got more violent as things were going. I think it was the case where at first, in my case, it was so easy. So when I continued to do it, when there was resistance, in my mind, it was like, no, this is supposed to be an easy thing. There's not supposed to be a confrontation. So it'll get to the point where I would punch. It'll get to the point where things would get violent, in order for them to see that, no, this is serious. You need to not cooperate with me, but you need to do as I'm saying. And it was just installing fear into other people just to get what I want. And then the whole knife situation happened. I started carrying a knife.
Why? Was that to intimidate others, or were you getting into fights with other people? To be honest,
this is where the whole helpless topic comes in. Because of the lifestyle that I was living, I would always find myself in the wrong place at the wrong time. Always find myself in that situation. So there was a point where I was held at knife point.
You were held at knife point?
Yes. And
with your knife in your pocket?
No, this was before I started carrying my knife. This is what led up to me doing so.
Okay.
So I was held at knife point, to the point that I literally had to run for my life.
Now, why was this person holding you at knife point? What were they trying to rob you?
The reason was so trivial. It was looking back at it, it was so stupid. Now that I look back at it, it was literally because I was in another part of town or in another area that wasn't my area.
Yeah, this post-Cold War.
Post-Cold War. It was as simple as that. I went to school in an area that wasn't the area that I lived in, and there was a fight that was going on, and I was just around, you know, just to see what was going on. You know, like when you're in school and things happen, you want to see what's going on. And there was just guys from around the area that were taking advantage of the situation, a big group of people, and they were pretty much doing what I would do to other people, but they were older, so younger guys, and thought, let's take advantage of it. So so they came, asked me what I'm doing here, pretty much just everything that I do to other people, now it was happening to me. Mm-hmm. But the only difference was they had the knife there, and this is the first time I've been in a situation like this. So I was shocked. I've never been in a situation like this. I didn't know how to react at all. And it got to the point, I thought it was a joke. I just couldn't understand what was going on, to the point that I realized it was true, because they started getting violent towards me, and me and my friends, we had to literally run.
It's that saying, what goes around comes around.
Indeed.
Right?
Yeah.
And there are many young people that we read near enough on a daily basis. I think even this week it happened, where we had a stabbing of a young boy, right?
Yeah.
2 or 3, I think it was this week.
Yeah.
Your life could have ended.
Yeah.
Right? So from that, did you actually learn your lesson? Well, actually you didn't, because that's when you started carrying a knife now.
I thought in my mind, well, if this is the way that life is, well, I have to, what do they call it? The survival of the fittest, I guess. Mm-hmm. So if that's going to be happening to me, I need to have a knife myself, right, just in case. I had no intention of using it. No intention of using it. To be honest, looking back at it, it makes me think, what would I have done if a situation did occur? It would have been the same old story you hear of a person either having a knife and not wanting to use it, but using it and killing somebody when they didn't mean to, and being in prison for a long time, or the knife that I had being used on myself. Yeah, I can see that that's where it was leading to. But
the thing is, you didn't see it at that time.
I didn't see it at that time. I just saw it as, this is what I have to do. I have to do it because this is the way that things are leading up.
Hold it there, Nelson. We're going to go for a quick break now. When we come back, you're going to hear the rest of how he felt helpless. What was his worst moment in his life, but also how his life changed. All right? We'll be back after this break.
As a man, I understand the struggles men like me go through. They need to be strong always and not to show any weakness, even though it's there. To be a leader to our family, to our wife and kids, when we really wish someone else would show us the way. To choose what is right in a world of wrongs. To admit to our mistakes when our egos don't want us to be exposed. To learn to be a man when we're still only a boy inside. Being a man is not easy. But hard is also a part of being a man. We don't like anything easy. We want challenges. We want to prove that we can do it. That we are bigger than the problems staring us in the face. That's why we go to the moon, we climb the Everest, we sail around the world, and build fast cars. We like the feeling of accomplishment. And please don't ever tell us it can't be done. We will die trying. Being a man is not easy, but we wouldn't have it any other way. And yet, the true conquest of a man is not measured by his money, power, or fame. His greatest achievement is to overcome himself.
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Tonight our topic is I feel helpless. So we've asked the general public, what do they do when they usually feel helpless?
Definitely depression is probably number one.
They're arguing and they're talking negatively about each other.
What is more valuable than another? And so
you can have as many friends and families as you want, it just depends.
Is a common regret, like, oh, like I should have like asked that person out, or like.
Helplessness is a feeling that we all get, and usually when we feel like that, we're not sure of what to do. So I'm on the streets of London asking the public their opinion. Let's see what they say. What do people usually do when they feel helpless?
They get scared, blame other people, and come up with lots of excuses. And that's kind of how it goes, isn't it?
I think they close their mind off and think that there's nothing else that they can do. Like, you get in sort of a little like funk, you know, like stuck, when I mean that there's always other things that you can do to help, but you get in a mindset and you need to get yourself out of it, I guess.
When they feel helpless, they tend to more like kind of keep the problems in, thinking that it's probably too private, or they're probably just by nature just like close persons.
Okay, if you are feeling helpless, you know, you feel as though you're not in control of yourself, then you're going to find out now how Nelson changed his life. Now, before we do that, Nelson, things got to a head, right? Things slowly got worse and worse. Tell us what happened with you.
So when it came to relationships, when it came to girls, everybody that I had interest in either turned out to be no good, or it just never worked out. It never worked out at all. So I would always abuse girls, but the ones that I was serious with, they weren't serious, if I can put it that way. So that was that. With the robbery, with the shoplifting, I ended up getting caught, and that showed me that I was not invincible.
Because that's what you thought. Yeah, I can steal everything I want. I can leave these things on the bus.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Things I want, I keep.
Exactly.
Now you got caught.
I was getting caught. It's like everything was closing in now. Things were closing in. When it came to the whole lifestyle that I was living with, the friends, with the bad influences. For example, there was if I can put it, a showdown that happened. My brother, he got into a big fight. He got into a fight, and we ended up calling our people. They ended up calling their people, and I remember it was all going to happen in this park close to where I lived. There was guns, there was knives, bottles, poles, everything. Everybody had a weapon with them. It was pitch black.
Let me just ask, how old are you? How old are you?
15, 14, 15.
15?
Yeah.
Guns.
Yes.
Well, that's not surprising now.
No, it's not.
No, when I was 15, it was, right? It was maybe a baseball bat, and things like that. But yeah, go ahead.
So I remember going to the place where it was all going to take place, in my head thinking, this is life. Well, this is what it's all come down to. I knew that something was going to happen, something very bad was going to happen, but it's like I had no strength to say, look guys, I'm not going to go, or let's not go. It's like, go with the flow. I just couldn't help myself.
You can't back down.
Can't back down. Exactly.
If you do, you're the weak one of the bunch.
Exactly. You're gonna like you don't care. Like you don't wanna help. But at the same time, there was fear inside. Luckily, well, I say luckily for the person, but luckily probably for myself as well. The main person that was going to kick it all off, he was too scared to come. So everybody was there, my group with their group. Everybody had their weapons there, but it was all, the key was that person to come, and it was obviously going to be a little. Well, we're just going to talk. We're going to sort it out, and then things will kick off. Everyone knows that that's what's going to happen. But the person didn't turn up, luckily. So it just was a little argument, but then it kind of just split up. And that was like my moment to say, you know, I was saved. You know, if there's a God here, He's giving me one more chance. Mm-hmm. But I still didn't know how to come out. I didn't know how to come out at that point.
Right.
Until.
Did your mum know what you and your brother were?
No, she had no idea. As far as she was concerned, the only inkling that she got was when my grades started to slip, and they started to slip really bad. But typically I was really good at school. I was a good pretender. She didn't know a thing, nothing at all. Only I would come home late. I would just say, you know, I was at a friend's house when obviously I was getting up to what I was getting up to, but she had no idea at all.
So you felt actually helpless?
Yes.
Describe that feeling, please.
The feeling is, it's knowing that what you're doing is wrong. What you're doing is going to either get you, it's going to get you killed, it's going to get you in prison, it's going to destroy your future. Even knowing what you can do to change it sometimes, but just not knowing how to. It's like you know how to do it, but you don't find the strength to do it. So for example, in my case, it was as simple as, you know, it was the influences that were around me, the environment I was in. And though I didn't focus on it, but I knew that, look, if I just get a new set of friends, I won't have to go through these incidents that I'm going through. But to get myself to go and find new friends, it felt like I can't. I've already got this emotional attachment with the friends that I have. This is just how I'm brought up. How am I going to change who I am and become a person that's different? And that's what the helplessness was. It was just literally going with the flow and feeling like you're walking against a crowd of people that are going the opposite direction. That's how I felt inside.
Tell us how your life changed.
So my life changed when that close friend that I spoke about in the beginning of the show that sort of introduced me to this lifestyle, he moved away. He moved out of the area and he changed. I saw, because he was a really close friend of mine, and he completely changed the way he spoke, the way he behaved. He was no longer robbing, no longer abusing, using and abusing girls, no longer walking around with the guys that we were walking around with. And I saw this change in him. It was small, it was gradual, but I saw the change. And one day,
did he ever tell you what he was doing to change?
No, he didn't actually. Now that I think about it, he didn't actually tell me. I just saw that he became more distant, more different. Yeah. And it got to the point that I think one day I asked him, you're different. What's changed? Something's different about you. And he told me about a youth group that he was going to. And at first I thought, oh, it's just another youth group, because he used to be the type that would go from different youth group to different youth group, different church to different church. And I thought, okay, this is his new one. This is something else that he's got. But I did see a change in him, and he invited me. There was an event that was going on in the youth group, and he invited me to come to it. And at first I was reluctant. I just thought, no, I'm not going to go. But he really spoke to me, and he said, look, he basically showed me the reason that I'm different, the reason that I've changed is because of this. Come and see what it's about. Just come and see. So to cut a long story short, I ended up going, and I loved it. I loved it. It was something that I've never seen before.
Well, what happened there? What did you learn? Was that the turning point?
That was the turning point. That was the turning point. The main thing about it is that the environment was different. It was an environment that I was looking for, but I didn't know where to find it. And even if I found it, I didn't have the courage to go in. But because I knew him, he kind of was the pull to go there. So
what was different about that youth group?
What was different about it is that the youths there were not youths who were, looking for another girlfriend to add onto their list, or looking for trouble, or looking to rob somebody, or whatever else that most young people are doing. These youths were positive. They were thinking about a career, thinking about their future, thinking about, if it was about love life, it was thinking about a partner that they're going to spend the rest of their life with happy. And I've never seen this before. Most people that I speak to, it's just the here and now. They're only concerned about the thrill of here and now. But there was positivity. You could see that there were smiles on everyone's faces, and they were genuine. It was different. I don't know how to explain it, but I just knew that was the place to be. I knew that if I stay in this place and I listen to what is being done and I put it into practice, I'm going to see benefits in my life. I just knew, because my conscience told me, my intelligence told me that this is where I needed to be.
And what did you learn? What did you practice? And how did you see your life change?
One of the main things that I learned is, if you want to change your life, it starts with how you see yourself, and your environment. If you, for example, I think somebody gave me the example. You don't see bananas growing in the UK because the climate is not right for it. So if you want to be successful, maybe in a career, for example, or in your love life, or in another area of your life, the climate has to be right. So who are the friends that you're hanging around with? Where are the places that you go? How much time are you spending doing the things that you love or that are profitable? And hearing this and having people around me, young people around me that were encouraging me, that had done it before and seen success. So young mentors, seeing all of these people, it encouraged me to do the same thing in my life. So I cut the friends that I knew were no good for me, cut the relationships with girls that I knew that were only destroying me and destroying them, stopped stealing. It gave me the courage, the strength to say no to what is wrong, to say no and basically be able to say, I don't need to follow you. I don't need to do this because my friends are doing it. I do what I want to do. I do what I know is good for myself.
Was that youth group a secular youth group, or was it like affiliated to a church or something?
It's affiliated to a church. Sorry, it's affiliated to a church, but at the same time, the things done in the youth group there's a lot of community work that is being done as well. So it wasn't just talking about things of the church, but it was also things that are going to help you in your life as well, empowering you as well. So a lot of activities were being done there.
How is Nelson today? And what is Nelson doing today?
Nelson is completely different. One thing I would say is going to this youth group, it helped me to look forward to my career. So through the advice that they were giving me, I ended up getting a job in a career that I wanted. It was a placement while I was in uni, and I knew that this would help me on with my career. It's going to look good on the CV, it's going to help me in future. And I can say now I'm working for a company of my choice, a big engineering company. It was the career that I wanted, and this is all through the things that I learned in the youth group and in the church, helping me to push on and get what I wanted, and I've got that now, so I'm working there.
Are you now an influence on other people, a positive influence now from what you've learned?
Yes, definitely. I can. I'm actually a mentor there myself now, so a lot of young people come, and it's funny because they come with the same type of mindset that I had back then, and it's like now I look back and I think, oh, if only this person,
me.
this is me exactly, and now I can explain to them, look, this is what you need to do. You need to do this, that, and the other. Here's the proof in my life. I came from, having a terrible sort of background, went to uni, graduated with a very good degree, got a job in what I wanted a job in. So if I can do it with my past, you can as well.
Yeah.
So
brilliant.
This is it.
Nelson, thank you very much for sharing your story with us.
It's good to be here.
Now, something that Nelson said, and maybe that's your case. Maybe you know what to do, but you feel helpless in that you don't know how to do it, how to apply the change in your life. Or maybe you are so deep in your problems, you're lost. You don't know what to do. Whatever your case, if you want help, then with prayer, with the right advice, you can change your life. You can get your life back in control. And this is what God wants to do. God wants you to be independent. He wants you to live life to the fullest. He wants you to enjoy life. Enjoying life wasn't what Nelson did before, which is what many young guys do. But you see, why do they do that? Why do you, young man, why do you chase the girls? Why do you go out shoplifting? Why do you want to feel part of a gang who go around robbing people, who go around with this ego? If someone looks at you in the wrong way, if someone steps in your postcode area, you want to fight them. What's that got to do with anything? Think about it. You know it's wrong. As Nelson said, you have a conscience. You know that that's not right. You know how troubled your mind is. You know that you are one stab wound away from death, ending everything, your whole life. So what's the point in continuing like this? And if you really want to change, and actually, many times maybe you said, I want to change. Maybe you said, I want to change, but you don't know how. What's kept you in this lifestyle No, and I'm not just talking about young people here. It could be anyone. You want to change. You want to become a better father. You want to be a better mother. You want to make a success of your life. You want your life to change. You want to be a positive role model for your kids. Actually, maybe you're a parent and you feel helpless seeing your child act the way they are. Maybe you weren't there for your children before, and now you're seeing your child like a runaway train. You know, you try to speak to them, they are effing and blinding at you. You know, who are you to tell me what to do? Maybe that's what your child says to you. Maybe you're the child watching this program now and you don't want to act that way. You want to have that loving relationship with your family. No matter what your case, if you say, I feel helpless, I want this prayer, then right now we're going to go for this prayer. I want to say this prayer for you, okay? Whether you have a glass of water with you or not, that doesn't matter, all right? What matters is that you want this change. Let's go for the prayer.
Prepare now for the moment of prayer. If you would like a prayer concerning your financial life, send your name and prayer request to prayer@findinganswers.tv.
Father, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, Lord, I pray now for this viewer, no matter their religion, no matter their race or their age. You don't look at the color of a person's skin. You don't look at this person's life and what they've gone through, the many mistakes that they have made. You're not like a human being that once things have been done, so many wrong things were done to that person, they will hold a grudge for life sometimes. And you're not looking to this person's past. You're looking at their decision now. This person who feels helpless, they feel lonely. They want to change, but they don't know how to change. They want to move forward, but maybe something is holding them back. There is something that's stopping them from making that change. So all you are looking for is not just a desire, because maybe everyone has a desire to change. Nelson had a desire to change, but he didn't have the strength to do it. I pray that you may visit this person in their home now, wherever they are watching this program, even if it's recorded now and they're watching this repeat on YouTube. But they are sincerely open for help. So go where this person is now and help them. Help this person find this strength. And if they don't believe in themselves, we believe for them. So visit them now, my God, and take away that anger. Take away that pride from them. Help them to see in themselves that there is good in them, that they can change. So Lord, I present this glass of water to you that they hold in their hands. And even if they don't hold a glass of water, you know the desire of each and every heart. So I ask you to touch them. Touch this person, strengthen them. Help this person to forgive themselves. Help this person to let go of the past and look ahead and see themselves different. My friend, visualize yourself now the way you want to be. See yourself, that new man, that new woman. See yourself as that new father or mother, that new employee, that different employee from all the others. See yourself as success. Visualize yourself different. And if you believe that you can be that person, then God is going to help you from now, from tonight. He's going to help you and guide you to being that person. So Lord, I bless this glass of water. And when they drink it, cleanse them from within. In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Drink this water now, and may this process of change begin tonight, in Jesus' name. One more positive story here with me tonight, okay? Your life can change. I want you to believe that. Your life can change. And the change starts tonight. And as I said, if you would like, I want to add this again, if you would like to read more positive stories like Nelson's, you can still give us a call now and request a newspaper full of positive stories. People who have changed their lives. And these stories will be an encouragement and a help for you. And I'm sure maybe something that you read in that paper, maybe it will relate to you or someone else that you know. All right? So give us a call. The number's on the screen to request yours, and we're going to post it off to you. It's been a pleasure being with you tonight, and we see you again at the same time tomorrow for another Finding Answers. Good night.